In the year 1997, the future is in chaos and turmoil. Mankind is on the brink of extinction. Brave survivors band together and build a time displacement apparatus to receive a signal from a parallel future. This transmission is the Wundercast.
Here we go. Welcome to the Wundercast, the official podcast of Wunderblog.com, the home of UFF8 coverage. Unnamed Footage Festival 8 is going on, and your humble host Steven here has his short film Toy Vlog Hunt playing at the festival 325 March 29th with the Film Leech. And today I am joined by fellow filmmaker, the man behind the short Augmented, Mathew Abaya. How are you doing, Matthew?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me, Steven.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. I really enjoyed Augmented. It's probably, I'd say, the most visually stunning film I've seen so far from the festival. So my hat's off to you for delivering, like, Tron level visuals, I assume on a low budget, but it looks amazing. What got you into filmmaking and down this path to make Augmented?
Wow, I've always wanted to make a filmmaker. I think my initial instinct as a kid was I wanted to be an astronaut after watching Star Wars, but I realized that isn't exactly how it worked out, So I got into the whole visual effects element and wondering what creates those worlds. And when I say Star Wars, I'm talking 1977 Star Wars. I'm not talking about anything after it. But I just wanted to be involved in that. And I remember when the movie Tron came out, I just thought that was such a visually compelling film, and I just heard recently a film like that even just got disqualified from the Oscars for visual effects because they thought computer animation was cheating. So I just flash forward to now, it's like I'm my head first in all of this and trying to utilize all the technologies available to me to make compelling visuals for films.
Wow, that would have been crazy if we would have kept a universe where only optical effects were considered real special effects. That's insane. Mm-hmm. Wow. So how long but before this film you've made a full feature called Vampiria? Is that what it's called?
That's just, you nailed it. Some people say Vampira, but you got it right.
Yeah, it looks like a really fun, Robert Rodriguez-esque, underworld-esque action movie. It looks really cool. I'm excited to watch it in the future. Why'd you go the route with Augmented of making it a short as opposed to a feature? Was it just the ambition is so large it could only fit in a short at the moment?
Yeah, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head with that. I mean, when I was writing it, at first I was resisting the urge to do something that was more POV driven. And then I realized especially after going to Unnamed Footage Festival, just seeing the kinds of films that were being done and how compelling and how engaging movies can be done from first person perspectives. And I realized, well, that's how people are going to experience true augmented reality, is through point of view type of shots. So I really went head first in trying to write this screenplay in this format. And as I was writing it, I started to really get into some kind of dilemma, well, sure, you can write it, but what does it look like? I've even amongst my peers over at Stanford and people who are engaged in it, how is this all going to look when it gets translated to film? So I decided to make this short film really as a proof of concept for how I was going to pull off the feature, because I'm still working on the feature length version of this movie, but I really wanted to deliver. Yeah, I really just want to deliver exactly what was this movie going to look like.
Wow, and that's a freaking amazing proof of concept.
Oh,
Like,
thank you.
I we'll get into more spoilery discussion in like the last 10 minutes of the interview or so. Um, but but so not to give anything away, let's take a quick peek at the trailer so that the audience knows what we're talking about here. Let's take a stroll down to the Unnamed Footage Festival's beautiful retro website here.
Yeah, I love it.
And let's go through the calendar so people can see. I already have it
Oh,
open.
there it is.
You are playing with doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. I just had it. What is
Japanese Love Hotel.
Japanese Love
The
Hotel?
Murder at the Love Hotel.
Murder, 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 murder. I'm murder blind right now.
It's okay. It's on the 28th, I
We
believe.
got the Augmented,
There.
Unsolved Love Murder Hotel Case Incident, and Augmented. Boom. There's your glorious poster. Here we go. The audience.
Ah, Drago. Gotta help me fight off those ghosts today?
Well, we're here to get the new variant of the new sword.
Is anyone there?
I am hearing voices.
How do I get out of here?
What do I do? What the hell do I do?
And that's the trailer for Augmented, which will be playing with Murder at the Love Hotel. Have you got to see the movie you've been paired with yet?
Not just yet. So this is gonna be an experience for me to see that film as well.
Whoa, that's exciting. That's exciting. I'm fascinated at the taste that they thought would, go well together. So I haven't seen Murder at the Love Hotel either yet, so I'm excited about that. Um, how long was the pre-production process for the short?
Ooh, it's really hard to say. It's really hard to say because I was writing the feature length film, and then I realized to bring people into the world or build a short film that's standalone, that's related to it, was sort of just like a little side adventure from me writing the whole screenplay. So I would say it took about almost like 6 months really, because it was really a lot of planning and I was a lot of test footage first. So I have an entire reel, which I probably will share on my Instagram at some point. Like what was the actual process of bringing all this together? Especially when we're dealing with technology that's right around the corner. I mean, it's like when you think about what augmented reality is going to be, it's going to be, I predict. I mean, I'm not going to say I'm not trying to say to endorse any particular brand of it, but I feel like it's going to be totally like accessible to all of us very shortly, just similar to like a smartphone. So how did I pull that all together and just try to like figure out how was this going to translate to screen? That took about 6 months of stuff, just random shooting and saying, okay, this is going to work, and then showing it to people. Actually bouncing it off of people over at Stanford XR who were like really helpful in telling me whether this is looking correct. And I would also send it to my friends over at Meta and who are directly working on some of the emerging stuff coming out of there. And then they were like, yeah, I think you pretty much got the look of what real augmented reality looks like, not kind of like the the more Hollywood version of it. I really wanted it to feel like this is what it's going to really feel like, and especially when we're dealing with like something that would be part of the whole Unnamed Found Footage Festival. It's like it really has to feel like something real, it has to feel really real, and that's how I went about going about this movie, and the general process of it.
It felt authentic in that, you know, it has the dynamics that we're used to in like current live streams with the chat coming in and out and
Mhm.
giving input. And then I love the frivolity of the protagonist being after
Mhm.
like a variant of something that he already has in the game.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
the way it's just like this is just a side quest that doesn't even matter, and he's
Right.
risking everything for it basically, and he doesn't realize
Yeah.
it.
You definitely got the gist of what I was trying to get with this movie. It's like a lot of people I think are going to start to, well, even now. I mean, I think the initial inspiration for the short film on itself, or even the feature film, was Pokemon Go, and how people would get really sort of uh, immersed into this alternate reality game that was quasi augmented. Although nobody really seems to use the augmented tools too much. I hope that will change at some point, because I love the fact that you could just look around and interact with stuff that's part of the physical world, and not just like virtual reality where it just imposes a different reality onto your reality.
Yeah.
Uh, and I guess the whole streaming element was me being a DJ during the pandemic, and that was what I would do. I would just get on Twitch and I would stream and I would have these conversations with people, and that was just your way of socializing at the time. And I realized a lot of people's social value at some point became intertwined with this ongoing chat room and how they engaged with it. And I wanted somebody who was kind of a young protagonist who was really feeding off of that.
What was the is are you okay with saying like what the budget was for the short, or you want to keep that under?
It it's not. I mean, it's not the feature length film, so I'm not trying to like make a big killing off of this particular film. But I think I spent more than I should have, and it was like originally I was gonna try to shoot everything super duper guerrilla, and then it just didn't work out as guerrilla as I wanted to, because for safety reasons, because I didn't want to take anybody into some dangerous locations, so I had to rent out some studio spaces in order to augment our real location, which were all the POV shots that we did for the movie. So I'll say conservatively around $3,000.
Okay, I thought you were gonna tell me like over 10 or something, because
No.
looks
To
amazing.
me, it should have been. It should have been less. I honestly think,
Oh,
but
dude.
to me, that was about how much I spent on it.
So the graffiti labyrinth area, that's not a practical location. That's a studio.
The labyrinth is the POV shots are definitely on location, but we also had a location that was sort of a punk rock space, right? And it literally looked the same. Like we looked around, I go, okay, 360, I could do a 360-degree with the camera, and as long as I didn't show the floor, I think we sold that this is the same location. So that was how we kind of got around that. And there was another location, as you can see right behind me. This
Yeah.
is some of the background
Well,
behind me. It's AI rendered graffiti wall.
whoa. So yeah, I saw in the credits that you used Wonder AI for some of
Oh yeah,
the work. How much of the work was, AI driven, or carried by AI?
yeah. It's like AI is a tool, and it's not to be. I mean, I know some people are making entire movies entirely in AI, but that wasn't the gist of it. But I felt it was extremely important to show some AI workings in the movie, and I think that was integral to the actual theme of the film, because we don't know what's real and what's not real. What does AI generation start to look like when it impacts our lives personally? And that was a deliberate case use. And I try to use creative uses of AI, like, for example, creating graffiti walls that just litter everything. This is for areas like not everything was, and hopefully you didn't even notice this when watching it, but not every location was a real location. Some of it was entirely computer generated, but you would never
Wow.
know,
I-
you know. So, and that was sort of on purpose, and we would superimpose graffiti that wasn't really physically there in the real world, or we would use be able to get the dog into the scene, or ChibiBot, our AI assistant. Uh, I think I conceptualized some of the drawings in AI, but I actually 3D modeled those ones myself. So it was sort of like I was bouncing back and forth with AI. What should our AI sort of Pokemon-ish looking dog look like? And we kind of bounced back a few times with some visual generations like Wonder AI. Um, yeah, so one of the more interesting ones was there was an LED mask worn by one of the villains in the movie,
Hmm.
and the face that he has on him was an AI generated face. It was a mask, but I mean it was an LED mask, it was a practical mask, but there was an AI mask that wasn't superimposed in post on the actor's face. So I thought that was kind of another use of AI that I haven't seen done yet. So I thought I would play around with that.
Yeah, this is the first time I've heard of someone using AI practically beyond just like printing out an AI art image and like sticking it on a wall or something. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
that's super cool. And that that those guys gave me like total like Squid Games vibes, and all the stuff that's currently in pop culture, but just kind of like extrapolated to the future. So
Hmm.
how long since you had to do way more stuff in post than I did. How long was the post production?
It didn't take as long as you would think. I mean, we only had 3 actual production shoot days, and I probably spent about maybe six months on it. You know, but it was all piecemeal throughout the time. I have a day job still, and I was training for a bunch of races like Spartan and High Rocks. So I was kind of like doing it between these things. So I always had my laptop nearby. So when I had free moments, I would start going to town and trying to put together all the visual effects elements.
That's super cool. And you also did the music or the score for it. How long was that process? Did the music come first or did it come after? Or...
Oh yeah. Thank you for noting that. Yeah, I go my DJ name or slash music name is Hazmat, and I been really wanting to experiment with music. Like one of my biggest inspirations was like maybe something like the Silent Hill soundtrack, very minimalist, almost minimalist versions of like Silent Hill atmospheric stuff. So I
Uh-huh.
think I started experimenting with that music first. Like I was just like, okay, I wanted to try soundscapes. I would take samples of random audio cassettes from Commodore 64 program loading sounds
Mhm.
because I felt it always sounded like screaming, right? And so like it was something really eerie about this
I,
old
I
Commodore
I
64
know that
audio
I
cassette.
know I've heard those computer screams at work and different things. Yeah, I totally agree.
Oh, so okay. Are you familiar? Have you ever had to load a? I don't know. I'm not gonna guess how old you are, but have you ever had to load a computer program on an audio cassette? It's another experience, you know.
During COVID, I was watching my Apple TV so much that it started like malfunctioning and literally like
Mhm.
making like these like screaming noises of like I don't know, it was like really strange. I
Right.
didn't know where the noise was coming from at first. And then when
Hmm.
we would press pause, it would immediately stop. And we were like, oh my God, what's happening? So my
Hmm.
Apple TV could be haunted, much like
Yeah.
augmented reality
I don't
here.
have Apple TV, but I'm sure like well, I just know that the whatever however the it streams and noises it makes, if it was translating to audio, is gonna probably sound really scary and foreign to us if we're not familiar with it. So yeah, like I said, there is a scary side to technology that's uncanny. It's like because like we start to our mind starts to put together like all these psychologically we start to put together human like qualities to these sounds, right? And so to us, I guess it just sounds like screaming, and it's eerie, you know.
What?
So I think. Oh yeah, the music came first, by the way. Yeah, music did come before I actually started putting the visuals to it.
Okay. So were you like creating the music and writing simultaneously?
I made the music first, and of course it was a loose translation of it. And then after the movie was done, then I started fine tuning. Like, okay, this should go here, that should go there, and um, I had an old laptop, so I had to like figure out how to synchronize my audio workstation, digital audio workstation DAW to the movie clips. So I was an interesting process, but you know, and I play guitar, so there's some guitar playing in the mix as well. And yeah, it was an interesting process. I would say. I'm sorry, I think I lost track of your question. Was it like the length of it you were asking about?
How just how did the music come together? Was it simultaneous with the
Oh
writing?
yeah. Yeah, a little bit. I think it was mostly like the music inspired like the writing itself. Like what was the when I heard the music or how I was coming up with the audioscape, what was the visuals that I wanted to see go with it? So
And
I
then,
actually thought backwards.
that makes sense. So how did you come well, how did you decide the runtime of the movie? Was that through the edit, or was that like at the beginning, or this was your aim,
Yeah, I
14?
thought it was gonna be 10 minutes. I thought it was gonna be 10 minutes long. It turned out to be like 14 minutes, so it was definitely in the edit.
And
You
your
know, I had yeah.
casting, did you go the friends and families route, or did you do a casting call, or somewhere in the middle?
I did do a casting call, but I didn't get a lot of hits on people that I thought was appropriate for it. And then our producer Susie, she found this actor that was like pretty spot on. He's a young guy. He was a engineering student, also a theater arts major. It just happened that he also was a student at Stanford where I work. So it was just kind of fun that like, okay, this is still within the community of Stanford, but I met him through an outside channel, and I brought him in and had him do some reads for me, and I said, yeah, he could do this whole streamer vibe because I wanted somebody who could be like I do streams, right, and he does do his own like TikTok type streams that are really hilarious. His name is Patrick Flores, by the way, and I just thought he was perfect for that particular role.
That's awesome. Let's get into some spoilers now.
Okay, goes. Let's spoil this movie a bit for everybody. So, if you haven't watched it, I guess it's the point where they click out and come back to this after they watched it.
It'll be chopped in half. I'm gonna release the spoilers
Okay.
after it films at the festival. So
Oh, excellent. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's spoil away.
so the my favorite part about the movie is the ending, is the way that the story is this Sisyphean task that keeps on resetting, and we realize that our protagonist is now the person who, or the body that is anchoring the rare variant that I guess no one is ever going to get. And I
Yep.
am a total nerd, and I'm the type of person who always wants more. So like immediately once the movie was done, I'm like, who made this game? What is this? What are these sinister people in the masks? What are they after? Like, are they collecting something? Like what do they get out of this? Like, is this how they control society? You know what I mean? Like, how
Right.
deep does the rabbit hole go? Like my brain starts firing off all those ideas, and I get really excited. So I have to give you
Right.
kudos for ending it with, a strong hook like that. That really makes the movie really special.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that a lot.
Um, you said that it was a 3-day shoot. Did you shoot it sequentially, or did you like, put the kills first and then do the beginning stuff after? Like how do you format that?
Let's see. It really was depending upon what the shots were. So it definitely was not in sequence at all. I think I finished the three major visual effects with Rocco first, so I had to make sure that whatever I was shooting matched those shots. Uh, really backwards way of doing it, but I wanted to make sure that those were the most sellable moments. That's why I spent so much time reworking everything backwards that way. Yeah, I think everything about this movie was backwards in terms of how I shot this thing. But there was definitely a whole day of nothing but POV. So the actor wasn't there for any of the POV shots. Uh, Technically, you're seeing me. I'm the stunt person for the actor. So you see him riding a one-wheel skateboard, that's me. You see a hand in the shot where it's from the POV. Usually that's me. There's a few that's his, but he's wearing like gloves and this jacket, and similar build guy. So it's like it was easy to sell that as part of it. I think I even cast it on purpose. Somebody who wearing all that stuff could pass for the same person.
That's affordable. So when you were the camera person for the body worn stuff, like when I was shooting my film, I was trying to shoot it in character as the character that I was playing. Were you trying
Right.
to do a similar thing when you were doing the POV footage?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, of course, I was talking to the camera in ways that I think the character should. Of course, you don't ever hear my voice. You hear Patrick Flores's voice in place of it. And sometimes when we would shoot, I made sure to match his movements as well. So there was, actually, maybe I come back. I came back and I went shooting again. So there was a fourth day of POV shots. So there was one day I shot. Then I realized after doing all the shots with him, I went back to shoot more to make sure it for sure matched what he was doing on camera. So they edited well together.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Uh, did you play a lot of Pokemon Go back in the day? Are you still a Pokemon Go player?
I did it. So I do play it, but I'm not. People are shocked at how little I did play. I was more interested in the concept and the phenomenon more than the actual gameplay itself. But I do like playing it. I do like collecting, but I'm so terrible at the game. I have to keep asking for tips and pointers on how to do it. So maybe someday I'll actually get good at it. you know?
Well, people are gonna ask you about Pokemon Go. It's it's very it's in the DNA. You know what I mean? And that's a lot of people's frame of
Absolutely.
reference for augmented reality. Um, what was like the biggest challenge that you faced making the movie?
Hmm. In general, just trying to make sure that this aligned with people's expectations of what augmented reality is and not try to force upon what I might typically see in Hollywood films that sort of fictionalize what it is. I think that was extremely important and shoot it in a way that we can really believe that this was actually happening or this could happen. I think that was extremely important, just to be able to nail that particular aesthetic down.
Yeah.
And of
Uh,
course, you know, with any film, even though we only have one major actor on the entire film, scheduling, I think every indie filmmaker will tell you that scheduling is really challenging on a budget because people have to have day jobs, or in his case, he's a senior at Stanford, so he was really busy. He was writing papers in the car. I'm driving him to set, and he's sitting shotgun and he's on his laptop finishing up a paper right before I'm about to call action. So that was so super impressive. He's a brilliant guy.
you couldn't figure out how to get him class credit for this? Come on.
He didn't need class credit. This was he's I mean, maybe for theater art. I don't think this, even though this feels more like an engineering project in some ways because it deals with like computer sciences and stuff, but it was more, I think, on his extracurricular theater art side, as doing, Shakespeare and things.
Okay. Anything you want to plug?
Wow. Well, definitely come to Unnamed Found Footage on the 28th. I love it if everybody would come out and check out this movie. If they want to follow me, I'm on Instagram. I think I'm most active on Instagram. I'm also got stream on Twitch under the name Hazmat, Hazmadt. Uh, yeah, so I'm pretty active on there, and also can be found at I Don't Care Productions on Instagram as well. And I have a link tree of stuff on my uh, Instagram, so you can find all the relevant links to all the stuff I do.
Sweet. I'm gonna definitely link to your link tree on the
Yeah.
post. And I'm closing out all these interviews. I'm gonna put you on the spot, and I'm closing out every interview I do with filmmakers for Unnamed Footage Festival with please ask me one question about Toy Vlog Hunt.
Ooh, very good. I was very fascinated by something that happened in that film. It's like, when we talk about wokeness and of these toy vloggers, right? That was like that really hit a chord. I said, I totally have seen this in some people. Maybe you can talk to me a little bit about what inspired this character to be like attacking this wokeness in or so-called perceived wokeness in current popular media in toys.
Yeah, so that's definitely a lightning rod that I was courting with this film. And it was funny, I just want to bring up when you did your thumbs up, your little animation came up of a thumbs up bubble, so that's super cool. Um yeah, let's see, because I got inspired, I got asked what inspired me on my last interview, so I'm trying to give you like a slight variation and go in a different route. So
Okay.
so basically what the initial spark of inspiration and how I fell into like realizing that this was a problem that was starting to affect culture was I got super into Star Wars. I had a Star Wars wedding in 2017. I'm of the
Mm,
camp of people that thinks The Last Jedi is, one of the good Star Wars movies and not one of the bad Star Wars movies. Which is, a controversial opinion for some people.
mhm.
And around 2021, I think it was, one of our fandom friends had started a podcast called Rewriting Ripley, and they had done a data analysis, and they posted a Medium article with their findings from the data analysis they were doing of watching different YouTubers and sort of citing the rhetoric that they'd put out in their videos and how often they'd put out those videos and how many videos they would do that would kind of repeat these themes. And then they sort of traced back these sort of comments beginning in white nationalist posts and posts on 4chan and different websites. And at the time, they caught a lot of flack from all of these people that they had identified as sort of this alt-right pipeline,
Wow.
talking about wokeness, and over 80 videos were made over a whole host of channels targeting them and doxing them and harassing them and threatening them. And
Wow.
I was kind of watching it all and cataloging all of the links and how many views they were getting off of these videos, and these people are collecting super chats and they're profiting off of all of this hatred, in my opinion. And it
Right.
really, really pissed me off. And I was watching a lot of
Mhm.
horror movies at the time, and I have always, since I was little and watching, Kevin Smith movies and Robert Rodriguez movies, I've always wanted to be an independent filmmaker. And I've succeeded and failed with making a feature and with making different shorts in the past. And I thought, I've made content on the internet before, that's a visual look that I can achieve, you know so, without a budget. So what if I turn that, limitation into a strength and make it part of the authenticity of what I'm creating? And I just had the thought of, like, what if I was watching a lot of toy vlogs because I'm a nerd, and I was like, what if one of the toy collectors was like Ed Gein, and he had trophies of all of his victims, but because he's into toys, his trophies are the toys he steals off of his victims. So his trophy collection, he could show it to anybody and it would look innocuous, but to him, he would know that it meant that he had killed so many people. Um and when I was thinking, like, I like Jason Voorhees, but Jason Voorhees is quiet. He doesn't say anything, and
Mhm.
I wanted a way of, also thematically showing that, sinister messages are really the worst thing on the internet, and
Mhm.
kids get fed all sorts of content that, sometimes it goes over people's heads, sometimes it doesn't. But they're inundated with all of these different types of information, and they pick up all these dark ideas. And so I was trying to, play with all of that in my short film. And I really wanted to catch people off guard. And sort of lull them into a place of like, is this even a short film? Like, what is he doing? Like,
Right. It felt very real though when I saw it. I was like, man, I've seen at least a few, like, because like for me, I love, just like you, I'm a toy fan. I love, like, especially vintage toys and stuff, and I see a lot of vloggers going out into the toy store, and I hear these off putting comments like, oh yeah, this is woke Disney here, and this is woke whatever, and it definitely felt very real when I heard that.
yeah. I wanted to shine a spotlight on it, and I'm really interested in making art that's based in some reality. So thank you so much. What a wonderful question.
Thank you. I appreciate you you answering that one for me.
March 28th, you have to be at Unnamed Footage Festival in San Francisco at the Balboa Theater at 10:20 to watch Augmented. That is the way to go. I have been Steven. That has been Mathew Abaya. And remember, kids, when you're at Unnamed Footage Festival, you can always film yourself there, and that could be the beginning of your own found footage movie. That's allowed at the festival, I've heard.
Have Wunder. Have Wunder.
Wundercast? Give it up for Wundercast, man. What an adorable name.
You're listening to the Wundercast.
What's up, everybody? This is Jason David Frank, Green Ranger. You're listening to Unnamed.
You can find it at Wundercast, and I know they love Effie.
I'd like to close this out by urging everyone to go over to wunderblog.com, and you'll see on all of our recent podcasts, and once I post this up there, there will be a link to D-Rock's Patreon account for ad infinitum.
Oh, why'd you start linking my Patreon exactly when I stopped updating?
Oh no! Never mind!
You can also...
No, I'm gonna update it soon, I am. Because Halloween-a-thon's almost over. I've been busy with Halloween-a-thon, so... Sorry, everybody.
Also support the Ringing Rocks roller rink and their GoFundMe to improve their local facility. You can check us out at Bundacast on TikTok and on Twitter. And thank you for joining us on YouTube.
Subscribe to the Wundercast.